Yo, what is up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. Crypto Street Podcast. This is your boy, Crypto Dale, coming to you from no other place than my mother's basement. Hopefully, everyone survived this crazy Tether deal, USDT, crypto craziness. Thanks for tuning in tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening. As always, joined with my two compadres. We call him the Canadian tuxedo wearer up north, Mr.
What's
Prince.
up?
How we doing?
Living the dream. I can't complain, right?
Okay, let's just get real for 1 minute. We're going to get real for 1 minute. How often do you wear a Canadian tuxedo?
I don't really know what that is.
It's all denim. So like jean shorts and like a jean jacket. Let's be real.
I'm not that bold. I know some guys who will, but no,
Power move.
It's not my style.
Oh, that is so awesome. What's the weather? Give us an update. Everyone's dying to hear.
It got warm out again. There's no snow. It was out, it was beautiful out there. T-shirt. So we had a blizzard there like a week ago, not even. Probably this is just good old Canada weather, so
we had some snow on Sunday, but the ground's still pretty warm actually, which is really rare for October for us. We're not like you misfits up north. Usually we don't get any.
Anyone from out here, like anyone in Alberta, it's just the weather we get. It's like a joke out here in Canada. It's
crazy. Let's on that note, let's see how the California Dream Boy is doing. Killer?
Far too kind, but the weather's great here. It's a nice day, sunny, which is probably coming as a shock to everybody listening, but can't complain. Obviously we've had some interesting action in the price of Bitcoin the past few days with the gigantic Bitfinex premium. I'm sure we'll talk about at some point the Tether. I kind of want to call it FUD. I hate the term FUD at this point, but I kind of want to say it's FUD because I've heard that Tether's going to implode no less than
many times
over the past year.
Yeah. It's been crazy.
So, I don't know.
It's almost up there with the China FUD. I mean, realistically, as much as we
exactly.
So
it's a running meme.
So today is October 15th that we're recording this, and this Friday, Prince and I will be moderating a panel out in, what is it called, Prince?
Start Engine Summit?
Start Engine. I always want to say Search Engine.
Yeah, we're going to be out
I'm
there
an idiot.
Friday, Santa Monica. I can't even remember the location of it, but I don't know. It's a nice location near the beach, so it'll be good.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump on in. We're joined tonight with the co-founders of HXRO. It's spelled HXRO. Dan Guns. Did I say that right?
You did.
You
got the
okay. Perfect. Dan Gunsberg and Danny Johnson, co-founders. Guys, what's up? Thanks for jumping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man. Happy to be here.
Why don't one of you guys kind of give us a very high-level overview on what it exactly is and stuff like that?
Sure, I'll go ahead. So HXRO is a crypto gaming platform that merges digital currency trading with daily fantasy-style gaming. I guess a good way to think about it would be like DraftKings meets Binance or Zynga's version of BitMEX. So
Farmville on the blockchain.
Farmville.
So I think my background has been in trading. I was a derivatives trader for 20 years. I got into crypto in 2015, late 2015, and I think one thing that I've seen in the crypto, I guess in the crypto derivatives space, is that I found a lot of issues with, with platforms like MEX or OKX. Obviously, for professionals, it can be an interesting and profitable place, especially with market volatility. But I think for kind of the non-professional or enthusiast or retail trader, it ends up being a very intimidating place obviously dominated by prop firms, market makers, super unfriendly risk economics in many ways. And I think, those kind of go along the lines of the exchange protections that are there. But I didn't really get into crypto to deal with things like auto liquidation or socialized losses. Obviously, stop hunting is, something that has definitely, preceded the crypto trading world. But, we kind of wanted to deliver a platform that gave newcomers or existing people in crypto kind of the emotional rush that you would get from trading in many ways, kind of without the risk of ruin. Give you a fixed entry fee, low barrier to entry. You can get into these events for the equivalent of as little as $1. Giving you more interesting ways of winning through different payouts. And the kind of way that we view it is that as it becomes, hopefully, as we're acquiring users, it becomes more of a crypto on-ramp where people that are newer to the space or maybe crossing over from just getting into crypto, obviously with prices kind of resetting, there's definitely more public interest. I mean, at least that I'm seeing lately, that's starting to kind of look again at the market. So we want to give a fun and engaging way for people to on-ramp into crypto, and what better way to do that than through games?
Yeah, I think the key words here, like fun and engaging, right? We want to make this a fun, engaging, competitive atmosphere where you can play a contest against friends and shit talk and have a good time in a short time frame, and possibly have some pretty big upside on your decision making in a competitive nature.
So run us through an example. Like say an event is going on. Let's just make a hypothetical event. Let's run us through an example here.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Sure. So, a good example, like we're kind of running these, starting to run these promotionals of one of our games called Moon Rect. So the way that Moon Rect would work on our platform is you would have a floating price. Let's take the price of Bitcoin and imagine there was 5,000 people in a room. And the game is going to last 15 minutes. So there's going to be a start, and then 15 minutes later, you're going to have an ending price. So everybody basically picks a side with their entry fee, and nobody in the room can actually see who's on which side. And then the game will start at a specific start time, and then it'll unobfuscate how many people are on each side. So let's say you had 1,000 on Moon and 4,000 on Rect, and the game's going to go. And let's say it's Bitcoin, so the game started and the price was 8,000, which would be or 10,000 or 12,000 would be really nice. So let's say it was 8,000. Yeah, we'll go current. Let's say it's 6,400, and 5 minutes later, it's going to settle. And if there was 1,000 people on Moon, 4,000 on Rect, the price of Bitcoin was 6,401, or if it was 6,600, the side would win. Now, the beauty of it is you entered with this low fixed entry fee, but because of the parimutuel nature of the payout actually, you end up getting somewhere around 4.5 to 1.
Okay, so you guys are running a promotional now for 50,000 hero, which is about $2,500 value. It says on your Twitter at noon Central Time tomorrow, which is realistically the only time Central Time is real time, everybody. If USDT will be above 98.5 cents or below 98.5 cents. So it said here, to cast a vote, you need to either comment Moon or Rect below. So basically, if anyone said Moon and it is 99 cents tomorrow, at noon tomorrow, they potentially could win the 25 100 of those.
Yeah,
correct?
I mean, this is a promotional, so they're going to win basically what we're doing is we're taking everybody from each side, and then whichever side wins, we pick 25 winners randomly, and then they'll win free hero for gameplay on the platform.
So it's basically essentially what the platform will be like is what I'm trying to get at, kind of similar to that. So basically, if you're curious, just head out. It's real HXRO.
That's one of the game variants, and that's definitely like a high level, very dumbed down version of the gameplay. Just to kind of simplify it and make it easy for everyone to understand. But yeah, that's more or less a good starting point. People to understand what we're doing. The other game type is more geared toward like the DFS community and making it like more competitive in nature because it's a roster construction variant or a portfolio construction variant where you're able to choose a selection of crypto assets and decide what percentage of your portfolio you want to allocate it to that asset, and if you want to go long or short it, and then your construction of the portfolio is competing against everyone else's in that contest. So it becomes a guaranteed prize pool. If you're familiar with from DFS at all, it becomes more like a GPP tournament or contest. So we're going to start off with 2 game variants. We're going to go through closed beta in the next couple weeks, and then just iterate from there based on feedback that we get from our participants. And we got a rockstar team of people that have a ton of expert insight into crossover industries that definitely merge or overlap with exactly what we're trying to do. So we have like a former Zynga executive, got a DFS, #1 DFS authority who's written like, I don't even know, like 9 or 11 books on the topic of DFS and had an analytics platform he sold. Got like DFS site owners and poker players and crypto OGs. We got like just this whole great mesh of people that are helping us build out this game and making it enjoyable and interactive and competitive and exciting for everyone to play. And
then our lead engineer was one of the lead engineers for DraftKings, like the original DraftKings.
It's from the market.
Yeah. Nice.
I think and Danny, you have a poker background, am I correct?
I do, man. I was a professional poker player for a decade. Played online, got my chops online, and then played a lot of live. I would travel to Las Vegas every summer for 4 to 6 weeks and play in the World Series of Poker. Played the main event a bunch of times. Played another like World Poker Tour events, European Poker Tour events. And then I found crypto because of poker back in found it in 2011, but didn't jump in until 2013. And then I've just been down the rabbit hole, hooked ever since, man.
It's crazy how many like guys from that, the poker background.
So many.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you exactly why. Like the needs of a poker player or any, I guess, gambler in general are pretty like a specific set of needs. And it's like you want to have access to your capital at all times. Like you generally are using a lot of cash, buy-ins or playing poker tournaments or cash games or buy-ins at the casino or whatever. So you're just transacting a lot of cash. And banks a lot of times don't want to mess with you because large cash transactions by default are kind of viewed and red flagged as possibly criminal. So if there's just any sort of odd behavior, they just like unbank you immediately. And so if you're traveling across the border and wanting to play a big tournament or a big cash game or something, you need to find a way to have your bank communicate and wire money to yourself. And I just deal with the banking world and can't really travel with that much cash. If it's over 10K, you're kind of fucked. So crypto as a whole like suits all of those needs. Plus, like you take on the aspect of it where it's like a gamified if you're trading. Like a lot of the same skill sets that you use as a competitor in poker and getting good are the same skill sets you use in trading. Like high risk tolerance, like understanding of high level concepts and integrating math into it and expected value, like probabilistic outcomes. It all just overlaps so perfectly in every facet.
I think you turned me on to Nitrogen, which is an online gambling If anybody doesn't know. And like previously I had used 5 dimes, which you need like your firstborn social security number, your social security, utility bill, like a utility bill from a bank. It's just like, it's completely ridiculous, the requirements just to get your own money out of that place. And of course it's super easy to put your money into it, but getting it out takes an act of God.
Getting it out, it's like a 4-week process via check, like snail mail.
It's insane. But
they don't expect you to try to pull.
It's just send Bitcoin, receive Bitcoin, and it's so much better. I mean, like if anybody does any kind of gambling at all, like crypto and like you were saying, Danny, and gambling go hand in hand, or fantasy sports, or really anything where you have to transact money in a quick, efficient, cheap way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, controlling your assets is a huge factor of that too. Like, it's so easy to become unbanked if you're in an unregulated or kind of gray area industry. Like the people that are in the marijuana industry are experiencing that. Like you just unbanked. Like, what are alternatives? It's like keeping tons of cash or like getting balls deep in crypto. I choose crypto.
Yeah,
it's funny because
they've got mad amounts of cash.
Well, you don't get a lot of that either. Like in the West, because obviously, quite frankly, like we have a pretty good way of life out here. So that whole the unbanked thing, it's not as common out in the West as say it is in some other parts out east and all of that. But it is funny because like I never even really thought about it, but I don't know why I didn't. But then you mention it is the whole thing with professional gamblers, in a sense, poker players, all that stuff. Like it's such a big thing, just controlling your own money.
Yeah. So what turned me on the most to crypto, I think, when I first started looking into it, before like I got over the friction of investing, it was just controlling your own money.
That's the toughest part. It's just taking the leap and actually like saying, okay, I'm in it now.
I mean, back then was a lot different, right? When I first started paying attention in 2011, it was like you buy a prepaid phone card from some shady website, and then you like call a phone number to give the prepaid phone number card to the person on the other end, and they would like give you a fucking private key or confirmation. It was like it was a cumbersome process, and it was highly frictioned, and it wasn't very trusted. So as soon as like I found an outlet that was trusted and the least amount of friction that I was willing to deal with, I just jumped fully into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Dan, have you guys ever seen Danny's YouTube?
Oh fuck.
You got to check it out. World Series of Poker did like a 7-minute like little expose on him.
I got a bunch of coverage in 2012.
Wait, an expose? That implies a little bit of drama.
Like I was mentioning a figure and they won.
It was amazing.
I'm gonna be like watching this once we wrap up this episode. I'm gonna be hunting it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and then go check it out. It was a good time.
Ultimate degen.
Yeah. I was going to ask Dan, turning back to you and your background, I think you said you were a derivative trader.
Yeah, I actually started my career on the floor at Chicago Board of Trade, and
Sweet.
Yeah, and then I pivoted in '99 to stocks, and I actually ended up trading through the whole, not through the whole, but through like I would say like the 5th inning to the 9th inning of the internet boom bust.
Okay.
So, yeah, when I got to,
Dennis Eckersley.
I just aged the shit out of myself, didn't I? So, yeah, like
For
I got
crypto years, yes.
Yes. So, yeah, I first heard about crypto in 2013, and then it took me a while to actually get into it. And then in 2015, kind of post Mt. Gox, and we were kind of in that kind of sideways winter.
Yeah.
So I think we retraced like 80-something%. It
Yeah.
kind of was like there was such a good asymmetric opportunity there. Ultimately, what got me into Bitcoin, and here we are, 3 years later.
So you've still been in for quite some time. A lot of people we talk to are like, oh, I got in, 2016, 2017. And I think that's when a lot of people, saw an article on CNN or wherever they get their news, and they're like, oh, what's Bitcoin? But how have you seen crypto change, and how do you think that ties in with Hero and trying to make it like an on-ramp and even increase the adoption more into crypto?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's much more of a financialization element to it now, even in the last 3 years. And I came out of I was at a proprietary trading firm for a few years, and I saw the transition and kind of the interest in the prop world in Chicago, kind of pivoting to crypto. And you got to remember, like, really up until, I would really say up until like a week ago, the volatility was so heavily compressed in what I would call legacy markets that the markets were so tight and so efficient that crypto, when you had this volatility of crypto, was just massively insane. And it's obviously going to attract people that are skilled in trading, because this is where the opportunity is created. So I definitely have seen that. And then look at when you think about really what's driven us in the last couple of years, and it's really been exchanges. Just kind of a further testament to kind of the, I guess, for lack of a better term, Wall Street kind of starting to stick their foot in the water. So, to answer your question about Hero, I look at it as just a familiar, low barrier to entry way to get into a market, and really be a crossover bridge to crypto. If you take a step back and think about it, like, the space is so damn small right now, so small. And you even look at like the DFS market. I mean, just really in North America, I think that the number somewhere around 60 million users. So there's a market right there to capture, of an audience that could be captive and captivated and interested in something like crypto. We can deliver
a lot of people might not be aware of is that while there's a huge crossover of poker players into crypto, and a lot of them have migrated over and are either trading or just holding or hodling or whatever it is, there's a large crossover between poker players and DFS players. And so there's also a large crossover between DFS and crypto as well. Like, a lot of those poker players, top DFS players, were poker players in some capacity. And what DraftKings and FanDuel did that was really smart was that they knew that a lot of their executives were tied in the poker community in some capacity, and they targeted poker players initially, sponsoring players at the World Series of Poker to wear patches for TV coverage and what have you. And so a lot of the high volume, large early entrants to this industry are kind of the same people that are in our grasp, because they're all already in crypto. They're all in these competition-based these skill games, and I think we can have a pretty great player pool of engaged users that just are having a great time just competing against each other.
Yeah, and I think it making it into a game is super important for adoption, because we all have aspects of crypto, I think, even though we've all been in for several years, that we still look at and we're like, okay, like, average 50-year-old has no idea what to do with this, or the concept of a 30-string random character, address is still like a bizarre thing to them. So the more things we can like normalize and relate and equate to just standard things that people do for fun, I think the easier it's going to be to achieve mass adoption.
Agreed. And what's also super interesting, if you think about like what utility do you use right now for your tokens? Like, are you on platform on anything where the token is being used? Like, what's your number one? Most likely trading on exchange, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's probably for everyone. So if we're already like capturing and gamifying like people's number one on ramp and like, or number one activity they're using with these tokens, I think there's a pretty easy overlap and correlation that we can capture these markets and by gamifying it, making it just a whole different fun experience that's just low hanging fruit.
So guys, where do you see this going? Where are you currently at, like on a roadmap per se? What do you have coming down the pipeline?
Sure. So we are skinning out the platform right now. We are about 3 weeks away from closed beta. We are targeting to go into an open public beta second to third week of December. And then we're going to be ramping up to we're doing a lot of promotional starting now, and then all the way up till mid-Jan. We're going to put on a 10 million hero free roll as kind of our big first tentpole event. And then and then from there.
This is going to be open to people in the U.S., correct?
It will be open to people in the U.S. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. I'm sure that probably wasn't like easy to get, so I'm very impressed by that.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, the U.S. is like sort of like a minefield in terms of crypto regulations right now.
It's
Like you don't really even know what to think. It's like they're constantly changing it.
Yeah, it's you have to kind of look at it state by state, and plenty of analysis that goes into it.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, DFS dealt with this sort of stuff for a while, where maybe they still are. I'm a little bit out of the loop, but I think they kind of came to terms with some states now that some states are legalizing sports gambling in terms of being able to operate, with all the proper permissions and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure you guys have kind of used them as a bit of an example.
Yeah, exactly. It's thankfully that platforms like FanDuel and DraftKings and whatnot have definitely led the way in a big way towards giving us.
Did they merge? FanDuel and DraftKings?
No, FanDuel ended up being bought by Paddy Power Poker for something like $4 billion or 4.4.
Jeez.
So they're going through.
Yeah, and that just goes to show you like how quickly daily fantasy sports grew, because it wasn't even a thing like 4 years ago, or maybe it was, but it wasn't.
Started in 2012 and like 2013 when they really started picking up getting players, and 2014 when that huge ad campaign during football season started, where you couldn't look anywhere without seeing DraftKings.
Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, because that's largely what like caused them a lot of pain. Like they had to spend so much money and burn through so much money on legal because they were just everywhere. Like it's all people talked about. So that's when that was like the starting event where all of the states started having issues independently with DraftKings and FanDuel and DFS, whether it was a skill game or not. And so they had to exclude, I think it's 13 states because of the legal rulings in those states about how they dealt with skill-based gaming, specifically daily fantasy sports.
I think it's down to 9 now, actually.
It's down to 9? Okay, yeah. New York was closed out for a while, and they opened it back up, and I think maybe Texas was in a similar boat, but yeah, they're definitely trying to work to get more states to be available to them.
I'm pretty certain it's banned in the greatest state in the U.S., which would be Iowa.
What a tragedy.
It's a state within a state.
The state that still uses pinwheels to run by cows to get their internet going, as Prince and Killer can vouch.
I would be shocked if the United States was more than 15% of our entire user base, though.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would be too.
Yeah, it's not. It definitely is. It ends up being a little lower on the list of priorities when you're thinking about who your audience is. So
sure.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, I would have thought it would be a way larger percentage, but I mean, that's awesome to hear. It just kind of goes to show you how big this stuff is worldwide.
Yeah, definitely East Asia, then UK, Europe, India, but yeah, US is definitely a little further down the list.
Well, guys, do you have any? I think we kind of covered everything that we have written down. Is there anything, any final parting words you guys would like?
No, I mean, thanks for having us on. And I mean, Dan, do you have anything?
Yeah, check us out. Give us a follow at Real HXRO, Real Hero, and come by our website, hxro.io.
Oh yeah. Also, we want to do we're going to do a promotional code. So I need Dale or Prince or somebody. You got to give us a secret code for all your listeners. So if they're listening, they'll get 100 free hero when they go to the platform and register.
There we go.
It'll probably be like Crypto Street or something, but we'll
Yeah,
get
just
it
do
to you.
Crypto Street. Yeah.
Crypto
Yeah.
Street. Heard it here first, folks.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Check them out, everybody. Give them a follow. They got some great stuff going on. So thanks for tuning in. Get these bags pumping, just in time for year end. Let's rock and roll. So thanks for listening, everyone. Tip that waitress. Peace out. Stay safe. See ya.